A I really gotta get a about to start thing. Boop. Okay, here we go. Good morning and good morning. And why is the chat over here not working? Why is my little chat window failing me? Must I hit the refresh button? Yes, I must. There it is. Refresh and connected to chat. Good to go. Got my lesson plan up. There we go. Alright, how we doing? Popping a fevered pepper. I think I put up those last little posters I got. Good morning and good morning. And oh no. Odd. Game doesn't seem to know quite what to do with these. There we go. Is that what that looked like before? Magic Addiction is coming along great. Not taking any. Ah, yeah, looking good. This is looking good. I was trying to decide if there was anything else I wanted to build in my little base before I well, yeah, move towards the end. I guess I could build a bathroom. Didn't I make like a shower and a... You know? Maybe like a little... I feel like that's an interior, that's like a miscellaneous, isn't it? I'm doing well. I didn't get the most sleep that anyone's ever gotten in their life. But that not out of I was just up late with the boys talking about manga. You know how it goes. And then I get up early on this. I get up early on Tuesdays to prep. Oh yeah? Kate, good morning. I'm happy we have the same version of it. Shit, where's my knife? May thy knife chip and shatter. I have, it's the only one of mine that isn't, it's not the regular sized one. That I lost the copy I had, well, I didn't lose the copy I had when I was a kid. A teen, I wore it out. It seems like I've gotten most things out of the... I don't think I need this many thumpers. I don't think I actually need any thumpers where I'm going. Ah, there's that good music. Oh, I have this one. It's a thick boy. It's the one. It's 870 something pages. It puts the mass in mass market paperback. Yeah, the thing about hardcover books is I use them up. I don't see me needing this many wiring kits and copper wires anytime soon.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
It's hard because I don't know. was trying to decide if there was anything else I wanted to build here at the end of all, nearing the end of all things, and not really, you know? It's like kind of done. Alright, another tenuous connection between the Bobble and Dune. I'd love to hear it. Very much. We got some more of that. We got some not so tenuous ones rolling out this week. So, alright, there's all the stuff I'm going to be taking with me. See, water. That finally. Let's see, where do I just... I'm gonna plant this red wart in here. Can I do that on these? Yeah, okay. I should have been doing this more, then they would have had a nice place. I like that. Gazelle, Song of Solomon. I'll take it. That's a legit connection. That's a gold star. Shindero. Put away water. Got 2 titaniums and a quartz. The romantic gazelle. I'm into it. I can see it. Gazelles are... There's gazelles are, you know, what do? They evade lions. There's a pitiless beauty to most megafauna. They are not they're not sentimental creatures. Few prey animals are. What am I putting in here? These frost-based plants, sure. At this point, I'm just... Oop. Missed that one. Morning, JT. I'm giving folks a chance to filter in. So I had a bit of a late start myself. Another damn frost-based plant. I guess I had a lot of these. There we go. Oop, my knife. Titanium, aerogel, lubricant. Ooh. Is that a pipe? That's not a pipe. This isn't a pipe. It's just a digital image of a pipe. Doc, good morning. I should probably... Did I get that necklace, stupid necklace back? Yep. Should probably top off my coffee, but I wanted to... Like in universe, so I'll go do that. Yada da da. I don't mean to be crude. but literally every time I hear that water thing going, it makes me have to piss. Like, just a little bit. Alright, lots of water. Alright, the thing I wanted to build was a nice fridge. Glass and 2 titanium. Swap out this glass for quartz, and this should turn out real nice. I'm building myself a digital fridge because our real life one stopped working. Let me tell you, that's fun. Like, the freezer still works, but the fridge part isn't fridging anything. It isn't keeping it cold, which blows. So, you know, a new one incoming. How did I make those tasty salads? I need to make a bunch of those right here. Bring them with me. Preston's plant leaf, fevered pepper, okay. Grab a couple of fevered peppers, because the salads were like... Those were dope. Well, Kate's not vegetarian, also there's lots of other things that can go bad, like, you know, everything. Oh yeah. Oh, that's even better than a nutrient block. Alright. Now the question becomes, do these things go bad? No, they do not. Oh my god, I should have been making these all along. Let's see. Save in case I kill this thing by mistake. A couple of Preston plant and a couple of fevered peppers. And that should probably carry me through, huh? Alright. We ready to get started? Everybody got their various helmets and such on? As we head towards the abyss. Repair tool. Top off the boy here. Any more water? Ready? There she is. And there's my bladder. Excellent. Oh! Almost forgot my coffee. Chunk. Yeah, skim back here. So the opening line for the chapter for the chapter, the Fade Gladiator fight chapter, is: the concept of progress acts as a protective mechanism to shield us from the terrors of the future. Which sounds like just some shit, you know, some whatever kind of shit, some very spacey, very fantasy, but really break it down, and it's quite strange. It's quite a grim. It's sort of the opposite of the arc of the universe is long, but it trends towards justice. The idea is, oh yeah. Progress, the concept of progress is a myth that we have because confronting the reality that the future could be just as bad or worse than the present and the past is not something we're really capable of doing and going on. It's too grim. Oop. Just forgot. I was gonna put some couple of emergencies in here. Put a couple of these spicy fruit salads in there. Some water. Nice nutrient block. First aid kit. There we go. So Fade, yeah, let's talk about Fade. The last time we saw him was right before is like the second chapter of the book. Second section of the book. Long time ago. When he was it was when old Peter DeVries, remember Peter DeVries? Sure you do. Mintat Peter DeVries? When Peter was still alive. There we go. And there we go. And there. Okay, I think I got everything on hand I'll be needing. So, on Fade's 17th birthday, good thing to note, Fade is 17. Remember, Paul is 15, as we will hear in this chapter. On Fade's 17th birthday, he killed his 100th slave gladiator. In the arena. Rough stuff. No, he is a gladiator. Let's break that down. So, despite the popular conception from the film, remember even in the popular film Gladiator, most gladiators were slaves. This is what is being depicted here is depressingly close to history. Now remember, that is not the first guy that Paul killed. The first guy that Paul killed was the guy who he kicked under the chin. He kicked in and saved his mom. Saved. They were teamed up. But that's why Jessica has to throw in that caveat that, like, Paul's never killed like this in the hot blood of a knife fight. It feels a little bit like a quarter of like, ah shit, I wrote it. I had Paul kill that other guy. I don't really know a way to he manages to square the circle a little bit. It's always reminded me of in the first Pokemon movie, when all the clone Pokemons and the regular Pokemons are fighting each other, and Misty comes out and she's like, Pokemon weren't meant to fight, not like this. Because we're playing sad music instead of upbeat music. But, so this is like the only good look we get at what Getty Prime, the Harkonnen homeworld, is like. In this chapter we'll see it again briefly in another Fade chapter, and we were there in setting, although we were deep in Harkonnen mischief before, but this is the clear look at Getty Prime, and it is a rough place. There's a great they essentially the Count and Lady Fenrig are visiting, and so they just slap a coat of paint on it. Blue paint, but if you just like look down the alleys or side streets, people are furtive and terrified, and there's just garbage everywhere. The Harkonnens are not. It's not a great place to live. Lots of sassy conversation. between how are we feeling about Count Fenrig? What's the take on our boy the Count? Yeah. The thing that sucks is I used to read Count Fenrig as like his voice as like a Woody Allen type, like well, you know, what you couldn't say is that, you know, if you when you're being ironic, it means you're thinking deep thoughts. Nope. 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 I'm sure this is a very good song, Zach, but I'm afraid it is gonna put me in a bad way. There we go. It's not, I know it's not how he really sounds. He's more like, yes, when one is being ironic, it's one is thinking deep thoughts. The Baron refers to the Count as just in case you didn't know, in case you didn't notice, because it was several hundred pages ago. This Count and Lady Fenrig, the Lady Margot Fenrig, Marble Cake. Hello, morning. This lady is the same one who left the note warning Jessica that there was going to be an attempt on Paul's life on the plants. Left it on the little bumps on the underside of the plants. Y'all remember that? Cool shit. Oh shit. The Count and Lady were on Arrakis because they were the Harkonnen. They managed the city of Arrakeen, where the Atreides settle, which, since Duke Leto is praised for choosing that as his seat by the narrative, it tells us something good about them. It's classy. It's a classy place to pick. It's not a Harkonnen kind of place. There's a really great line, one of my favorite lines in the entire series. It comes in a much later book, but I'm just gonna throw it out to y'all now. Oh, Scooby MF Do 9794, thank you for the follow. We're just Subnautica and talking Dune, and I am trying to return to the purple crystal zone. But it's occurring to me that maybe... maybe I didn't actually leave my... shit. Maybe I didn't leave my beacon in a great place for returning. I might have dropped it down too deep inside the place. So I'm looking for the particular... just kind of... parallel parking my ass in here. Fuck it, here we go. Oh no, this is a horse shit. Oh, I've gone and fucked up. Oh, this music begins to be the mocking calliope of my own clown bullshit. Through the trench by the big lily pads. That sounds right. That sounds more correct. near final stage. And yet, I know there is a path around here somewhere. And the fact that I just saw that big fuck off shrimp monster. Oh man! Do I have to do this with you? Do we have to do this every time? Here we go. Here's a passage. Here's a pretty thing. Here's a shallow cave that is not what I was looking for. Excellent. So, fate is here to... Alright, I'm here to not get killed by that stupid thing. Let's see if we got some fish I can eat real quick. Hi Grana, that's well spotted, and that is definitely a question for later. We will for sure get to that though. Well spotted. So the Count and Lady are here for various reasons. They play a deep game. Letting all these penguins go. Oh, they just all swam directly back in the ship, into the ship. Okay, I guess they can come. Like literally immediately. Oh, I was getting out to fix the ship. Whew. Fade tries to dedicate his kill to the lady, who completely rebuffs him. So the big plan here is that Fade is going to fight someone in the gladiator pit who will seem to be an assassination attempt. Who will seem to be someone who has not been drugged and who can theoretically actually kill him. Because this is all supposed to be spectacle. It's not supposed to be a real fight. So, and Fade is in on this, although it's at present difficult to say how deep the game is. It's being played by Hawat, which is something that Fade recognizes when they're in the fight. He's like, oh shit, I actually don't. This guy could really just kill me. You get a lot of good stuff from the Baron here, a lot of good cowardly Baron. I know how problematic he is as a character, but I simply can't. I can't not love the Baron. He is just about. He's so fun. He seems to be just about the only person in this entire universe having any fun at all. Possibly because his fun comes at the expense of almost everyone around him, and he's a murdering, scheming, rapist, pederast. So all that's really bad. No, not going to debate you on that point. But tonally, when he's not doing that stuff, he spices things up a bit. Spices. Oh. Anyway. So, he's... Yeah. Yeah, there it is. So, Margot, we find, is here to preserve the Harkonnen bloodline, since that is her secret plan here. Because, was that the Baron aside from, you know, the irony, of course, is that Jessica and by extension Paul are continuations of that same bloodline. But the irony, there's the irony there. But the Baron does not seem as he is a confirmed bachelor narratively. So, and the Bene Gesserit want control of that bloodline. They want Fade. They have well and truly lost control, and this is them trying to get it back. The Baron mentions. Morning, Garrulous. The Baron mentions and this is how we know that the Baron he's not really able to think more than a couple of steps beyond where he's at, and the death of Peter de Vries seems to have oh fuck. Okay. Yeah, the bloodline thing is something that not only are the other factions not into it, they don't even really know it's going on. It's something like the Baron doesn't know about his secret heir. He was seduced like 1,000,000 years ago. Like, not 1,000,000 years, however old that character is. Yeah, I love those things. They're like giant, monstrous flatworms. The Baron, so the Baron throws out the idea. He's like, "Hey, you know what I was thinking? What if I turned Arrakis into my own little sort of prison planet, a Salusa Secundus?" And that's the wrong thing to say, for sure. There's sort of a great line for there's a great moment where the Count is like, "Is this motherfucker for real saying this to me?" Remember way back in way back, this was kind of something that the Duke Leto mentioned to Paul. What the hell? Is that a spy pingling all the way down here? No. That's some kind of arm. Something the Duke mentioned to Paul like 1,000,000 years ago. He's like, you know, Arrakis and Salusa Secundus probably have more in common than we realize. They probably have a lot of the conditions are similar. Maybe we could get our own fighting force going. It's one of those throwaway lines that become one of those lines that like just seem like conversation, but are quite relevant in the grand scheme. Here we go. Let me in. Come on, man. I'm right here. Just Ambrosis. Hello and good morning. There we go. There's the segmented path through which my trawlers show. Come on, let me crawl. Let me insert. Over there, perhaps? So the Baron's like, you know, I'm something of a hell world prison warden myself. To which the Count replies, well, you fucking better not be, man. The irony, too, of the Baron seeing himself as aggrieved and preyed upon by... as potentially aggrieved and preyed upon by the, we're seeing how things are potentially going to play out with the Baron exactly, and the Harkonnens exactly how they played out with the Atreides. The Baron keeps this shit up. There's a great line where the Baron's like, well, who but me could the Emperor have trusted to do this? And Count's like, you know, I've heard him ask that same question, but with slightly different emphasis. It's just such a beautifully bitchy thing to say. Who indeed, but you? We've been trying to figure out. It's just that question. What is this? What have we here? Might I scan ye? No. I think the point of this is supposed to be the kyanite, but kind of good on kyanite. I feel. Ooh, new egg? Nah, it's just a rock puncher. About 1,000,000 years ago. Maybe the gold? I don't think I have any gold. It might not be the worst idea to get some real quick.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Haven't been using the prawn suit much. Really haven't needed to. So the Emperor... So the Count mentions, and he's like, you know, the Emperor hasn't said that you're allowed to make this kid your heir. So that's really why we're here today. Which is not really why they're there today. They're really there so that, as they mention later, the Lady Margot Fenric can seduce Fade, who is 17, so... That's gonna happen. Yeah. Not even royalty, just nobility. Gross. So as is mentioned 800,000 times, typically the blade goes on, so Fade has 2 knives, and notice he's fighting with a shield. Something that's Paul's done. So there's a lot of contrast between this fight and Paul's. It's really interesting to read them as a pair. Paul's knife fight with Jamis, and Fade's knife fight with the Atreides soldier. The control over the situation, obviously, Fade has much more control over his situation than Paul did. The willingness to kill, the cruelty of it, the fact that Paul tries to let the guy surrender, Fade is in a fight to the death. But it's all the... Let's talk about it. The fight. He goes into the fight. He secretly has the poison on the other knife.
The crystals in this environment are confusing my senses, and yet I feel certain there is something important.
Yes.
A facility or a body component. Perhaps both. I cannot tell.
Yes. That's good news. That's good news, folks. Uh-oh. Fade does look cool, which is the whole point. So Fade has a sense of spectacle. He has a sense of, as it is as noted, bravura. Bravura? Bravura? Bravura. Bravura. Let's go with bravura. Now can anyone remember another character who is described as having a sense of bravura? I'll give you a hint. They also fought someone they also fought a creature to the death in an arena. Although it didn't turn out so well, and in that same fight. So let me tell you, let me read y'all a early, yeah, name's got it. I'll read y'all an early passage and see if you see any connections here to this. Let's see. Do. Mapes crossed to the bull's head. What a great beast it must have been to carry such a head. She stooped. I'll have to be cleaning this first, won't I, my lady? No. But there's dirt caked on the horns. That's not dirt, Mapes. That's the blood of our Duke's father. Those horns were sprayed with a transparent fixative within hours after this beast killed the old Duke. The old Duke. The bull, that's right! Think about it also. The blood on the white horns, just like the poison that's supposed to be on the white blade. Or is on the white blade. Which is it? Because it's actually kind of hard to remember because he keeps saying, no, it's supposed to be this way, but I did it this way. So that's neat. And also think back to, but we're already in our heads, we have to be comparing this to Paul. Would this trick work on Paul, the poison being on the wrong blade? Fade has not had the same training that Paul has. They've got a different... When you've killed 100 slave gladiators, you expect things to go a certain way, and it almost fucks them up. Gurney taught Paul, the point can also cut, the edge can also stab. An extension of that might be that the barb that you sink into somebody's arm can also be used as a shield against your poisoned knife. As I say this, I'm exploring. And as I say this, I am hunting. Damn, that place looked like the way down. So how cool is this gladiator, though? A guy who carves a hawk into his arm. We try to forget that he's been painted orange for the fight. Because that's kind of hard to... Yeah, it's easy. I'm like, is this anyone we've ever seen? But I haven't been able to definitively, at least to my satisfaction, say that this guy is anybody in particular, which I think is honestly cooler than if he was, like, some particular soldier who had been, like, identified by the narrative as, like, you know, cool Atreides guy X. The point is, he could have, it's like just a random soldier, a random Atreides soldier almost gets the best of Fade, despite Fade having every advantage in this fight. And being a little piece of shit cheater. I do want to read this this ultimate Fade move. The music stopped. Into the abrupt silence, he stepped back 2 paces, raised the key, and shouted, "I dedicate this truth to..." And he paused, knowing his uncle would think, "The young fool's going to dedicate to Lady Fenrig after all and cause a ruckus." "To my uncle and patron, the Baron Vladimir Harkonnen," Feyd-Rautha shouted, and he was delighted to see his uncle sigh. It's not just the training, it's the that he has. It's the absence of fear. It's the... This guy just does not flinch. Die on your own blade, Harkonnen. Just because it's gonna come, just because it's gonna come up again, it's gonna come up again fairly soon. I invite y'all to note that the barbs that Fade sets into the guy he's fighting, who I really, I'm gonna call him the Atreides, so I can stop calling him the slave. Are described as a pair of long, hooked shafts. Which is which has some visual symmetry for something that will be coming up fairly soon. In fact, in our reading for next week. Oh, damn it, I have well and truly gotten tired of being down here, but we have heard about maker hooks. Thank you, Garrulous. Yeah, pretty cool. The shade, the slave using the barb as a shield is very much in the Gurney, how like, you know, the blade can also cut. The edge can also cut. The point can also cut, and the edge can also stab. Is like using the elements of a weapon not as they are presented. All right, Hackerana, we'll see you soon. Not as they're presented, but as they can be used. That lateral thinking. And then Fade has to cheat to win the fight. He cheats. It's so frustrating. Every time I want this guy. I want the Atreides to win. It sucks. It's very unfair. Ooh, okay, how deep? Was this the place I just... Oh, I should use, no, not this. Where's the thing? Okay. So not... Oh. Oh. It's not here, but it looks like there's actually a way down over there. Good. Okay. Where was that? Okay, when I back up, it'll be straight. Alright. They try to... So Fade uses the cheat word because he's a cheater. And he sucks. And he cheats. Calls him scum. But the gladiator still gets out the... One day, one of us will get you. Dies on his own knife, because Fate is still gonna, he's still gonna do the thing. He's still gonna, like, even after all this, he's gonna let the guy, let the guy die from a hideous poison and just stand there and, like, point out the shit to everybody. They're not good people. Are you picking up on it, Sarkonas? They are not, kind. So they try to cut off the slave's head. They're like, oh, we're gonna honor him because he's done such a good job. He did a good kill, and he's like, no, bury him with honors. This guy I cheated and whose agonizing slow death I wanted to use as a fun spectacle for everyone. But it's the right gesture. It's the right gesture. It gets everybody on his side. It seems to. All the people like it, and it's a... The thing is, we, you know, humans don't see any nobility in that. Because we don't live in a culture where the expectation is that the head will be cut off. And it'll be a nice treat. But part of the, oh, hell yes, here we go. Oh yeah. Look at this nice juicy crystal hole. Part of the point being made here is that if you control people absolutely, even the tiniest gesture or affordance of dignity can get them on your side. Can be seen as
There's definitely something valuable nearby. It could help you build my body.
it's Whole Foods crisis pay. Amazon is donating 5% of all profits to destroyed Amazon employees. Well, not that, obviously, but it's absolutely a facile gesture. Ooh, we're finding some good stuff. Okay. That which makes a man superhuman is terrifying. Main superhuman we know these days, of course. Good old Paul. What have we here, I wonder? Oh, man. Yeah, this seems like it might be relevant. I'm not sure, though. Oh, one of those things. Haven't seen these guys in forever. Oh shit.
You will be able to construct bionic organs with the scanned material, both primary and secondary. Our designs provide for redundancies.
Nice.
Given your current location, I think they could still be improved.
Your feedback has been noted.
Oh, because he's dead. Okay,
We
so...
have scanned all the components we need to make a storage body.
Are you excited?
Using the chemical compounds available in your body, I am able to approximate what you might call cautious optimism.
Ah, I knew it. I knew I'd need an ion cube. 2 ribbon plants and 3 kyanites. Okay. I saw ribbon plant relatively recently. I think then I have everything I need to make this stuff. I just gotta know. Yeah, it's a technobiological. It's a biomechanical body. They've talked at length about it various times, and then he or they, because they've gradually let me forget that he's full of, that there's a million of those boys in there, can be. Uh-oh. Almost got stuck in the glitchy floor again. Old, just like the old days. Okay. So we're gonna get into the... How does it... What happens next? Okay, the Harkonnens are like... we're gonna have a... Oh! Actually, perfect time for this. A fete. A fete is what they will have. F-E-T-E. They're gonna have a big party. From meridian to meridian, they will not... no work will be done. And then they're gonna have party and food. Meridian to meridian, as we know, noon to noon. So the big, to celebrate this dude's, the prince's birthday. Oh.
We have gathered the necessary components to begin constructing my body.
Great. What's next? Let's get you out of my head.
First, you must find the fabrication facility. It is concealed at some depths.
Fabrication facility. So you planned on needing to make new bodies?
It is a standard medical facility.
A medical facility where you just replace your whole body when it wears out? Sounds a little beyond standard to me.
Yes, well, we
Ours
have
was a
different
research
cultures.
mission of the highest importance.
So, what were you, a scientist like me?
I am a scientist now.
So, what happened? Your team found the vaccine and then...
Please, Robin, you have the components. Find the facility and construct the body.
Uh-oh.
Okay, but don't think I don't notice you changing the topic.
Uh-oh. Oh, jeez. Yeah, a fete is a party. It's a big festival. Tralaloo. We're gonna have a great time. No, is this real? Yeah, I'm trusting. I've decided to trust this guy implicitly and forever. Okay, I need some. It's buried at some depth, is what I heard, so I gotta. I guess I will. Their facility is at some depth. I don't know. It just occurred to me that that is the most. Yeah, you'd think. I think if I had millions of alien intelligences in my head, and no actual way to remove them on my own, I think I might consider building some kind of non-hostility-driven bond with them. But that's just me. I'm different. So, wrapping things up with the Harkonnens. They're gonna... things are positioned such that... what is it? Who's his name? I'm sleepy. The guy. Who's the kid that sucks? Fade. Fade is going to... Fade's man is going to be the new slave master, because all the things have been positioned to blame the old slave master. This may be relevant in the future. See, this is the problem with non-autistic people. So she describes all of her. Not all non-autistic people, but some. It is the allistic condition to describe the ways you feel as the inherent natural state of the human condition. As just like, oh, this is how people feel about death. This is how people feel about dying. It's like, no, this is how you feel about dying. This is how you feel about this. I don't know. I feel this way, so everyone must, which is... It's just something... It comes from from frequently having your gut instincts taken as natural. It's a weakness built into the allistic mindset, into that operating system. But back on over to back on over to Paul. And Jessica. Ooh, this looks... We got cubes. What the fuck is this shit? This Minecraft out of my game. Got some bismuth here. Bismuth ass. Something. This is nothing. I wonder if they made the alien power cubes by just getting radioactive stuff to grow naturally in these crystals. Like, I wonder if that was how they made them into bismuth shapes. Oh man, look at those things. Those are pretty horrible. Ugh, I gotta get a closer look at this thing. An Eclipse Plant. Often found growing out of a green crystal outcropping that seems to be similar to jade. Oh! Weird, it's like a vase. It's like a vase for the plant. This place rules, though. I'm incredibly into this. One of the few images I remember from the film The Core is, and if you've forgotten about The Core, it's the film where the center of the Earth stops rotating. So a team of intrepid explorers, scientists, adventurers, including DJ Qualls, who you may remember from The New Guy, has to journey to the center of the Earth and blow up the center of the Earth to restart the turning. But there's a part, so they're in a giant drill that's quickly drilling to the center of the Earth, and at one point they drill through a geode, a giant geode, and fall like for like half a mile. And it's really, it's presented as terrifying, but it's actually pretty fucking funny. Oh, yes, I don't like the glimpse of that I just got. So, Paul and Jessica, they reach the, and Stilgar's troop all reach the... I think it's hard for me to tell. I think it has to be the case. It has to be the case that the previous section actually happens after the section where Stilgar and Chani reach home, because reach the Fremen. Because if you think about it, for Stilgar and for Paul and Jessica, it's been like, I think it would not surprise me if it were exactly what, like 3 days? 3 days in the desert. But the Baron, like it's like they're already back on Getty Prime and having this grand thing. It's hard. It's hard. Oh. Oh shit. Not the time. No, space travel is not fast, because it took 6 months to get from Dune to get from Caladan to Harkonnen, to get from Caladan to Arrakis. So I've always read this as like the one. Frank Herbert really wanted to pair the knife fight chapters, put them back to back. I think he is absolutely and two, we're starting to get. I'm not cinema sensing here. Like the thing is, it's like we're starting to get some little glimpses of time. Things happening out of their time, or like we as the reader are getting a glimpse of something before it could have specifically happened. Let's see. Get out one of these cubes. Hack up the old quantum locker. Yeah, this is not going to be easy. So they get home, and this is specifically the first time they're getting there because, like, in this sequence they find out, in the same section they find out that Leah Kynes died, and it's like, that just happened. So I think it's neat because it's like on Getty Prime, Thurfir Hawat is already close enough to Fade that they're scheming together. They couldn't have, like, it's like, it can't have all happened in 3 days. There's something metaphysical happening in the way that we're perceiving, that we, the readers, are perceiving this story. We're getting information out of its time. Intentionally, I believe. And that's neat. Let's see. There's a great line where they go into the Seich and it smells... Well, I know. They go into the Seich and it smells very bad. And Jessica's like, oh! Great smells! Love your Seich! And if you think about specifically the things that she names, I see you do much working with the spice, which we know spice smells very intense. You make paper. I don't know if you guys have ever been around a paper mill. Not the best smell in the world. Or a plastics factory, also pretty intense. And then just a throwaway line, oh, and isn't that chemical explosives? So, if these are homemade chemical explosives, which the assumption is that they are, like, typically homemade chemical explosives means somebody is using ammonium nitrate. And the way that you get ammonium nitrate is you allow the nitrogen in manure to be converted to ammonia through bacterial degradation. So the Seich smells like, we're going to run through this really quick, extremely intense cinnamon, a paper mill, a plastics factory, and rotting shit. All of that at once. Not to mention the press of a lot of people who don't use water. And yet, we get this after. It still sounds better. There's a contrast between that and Getty Prime, where they just throw some paint on the garbage. Oh. And then fuck off. Okay, I gotta fix my ship ASAP. Also get under my ship so I myself don't get killed. Alright. And then... get away from that fucker. Yeah, leave. Leave, why don't you? What, are you stuck? Jesus Christ, this guy. I'm hoping... Maybe I can turn off the lights? Oh, they were off already. Oh my god. Okay. You've made your point. You're very big. Yeah, I think I've like... Oh, god damn it. I've like gotten this one stuck in aggro range, irritatingly. Okay. Alright, now I should be able to get some of this stuff. Alright. We're doing it, man. Yes. All the stuff to make all this shit, I think. Ooh. Got a tasty meal for me somewhere? Maybe a fish? Yeah. So this is so there's a lot in this, there's a lot in these chapters specifically about the proper time to mourn. So there's no time skip yet. There still hasn't been a time skip. This is still, Site is still right. It's still like literally they just got here. It's been another single night's passage to get here. This is important because it's like, that's the only reason I. So there's a process when they get in. Hera, who is the wife of Jameis.
If you have used the fabricator to build each component, we can assemble them.
Great.
And then we can transfer you out of my head?
I am anticipating it as much as you are.
Sure, why not? Yeah, we'll do that. Whew, this is exciting. So, when Paul killed Jameis, where's the line is? Paul's accepted responsibility for Jameis's wife and his 2 sons, one of whom we find out is, one of whom we find out was not actually Jameis's son, but the son of another guy. Who he killed. So what we find out is like there's this whole specific process for this stuff.
The process requires you to build each component before you can assemble the whole.
Okay. Then I will just do that. Over here, I guess? Ah, here we go. Time to make some architect
So, Alan,
organs.
You said your people came here in search of a cure?
I was a researcher.
You were a scientist? Like me?
My people regarded my scientific...
This is the second time she's asked that question in like 4 minutes.
As I said, like me.
If that is your interpretation.
So how did your valuable scientific mind wind up
Okay.
infected?
Ugh.
Not my mind, my body. Perhaps you should build the next component.
So, Paul is offered... Paul, yeah. Well spotted, Spurvis, yeah. There's definitely there's definitely some stuff going on with her being named Hera. God of the household. Goddess. God. Is that like actor? Actress? But there's a process by, specifically, Paul is asked, do you accept Hera as woman or servant? And he chooses servant. with the door open to accepting another, if you want to. You know, it's like he leaves the door open, and Stoker says, you know, caution's a worthy trait in a man who'd lead. But there's a thing that this reminded me of on this read. Let me see. I'm trying to find it. So the thing about the Emperor. Boop, boop. Anyway, can't find it right now. It's the specific part where the Emperor. There's that anecdote about how the Emperor was offered a very beautiful woman as a gift, and he, rather than taking her for himself, he said, "Oh, we'll save her for a gift for someone else." So Paul is showing a similar trait here. The big thing about the big takeaway here is that with all this is that Hera's not mad at him. Nobody seems to be mad at him that he killed Jameis. Jameis' sons even accept him, because specifically the process is formalized to allow for the preservation of a society in which you can just challenge people to a knife fight and kill them. It's like, okay, you can do that, but then you're going to be responsible for all their stuff. Their children are going to be like your children. That's the way you have to do it. Their wife becomes your responsibility. It's a way... It seems, in this text, it seems savage, but contrast it with the Harkonnens and the Atreides, who have had beef because one had another banished at some battle literally 10,000 years ago, because they didn't have a mechanism to actually settle the beef. They only have Canley, the highly ritualized art of assassination warfare, which is not restorative. It doesn't fix the rift. And Paul asks, you know, do you not miss Jameis? And Hera says, in the time of mourning, I'll mourn him. Just call back to when Paul was unable to mourn his own father, and said, back when Paul and Jessica were hiding in the tent after fleeing the Harkonnens, Paul thought, I must give her his message now when she has time for grief. Grief would inconvenience us later. There's
So
a
you came here
big thing
to
about
search
doing
for
things
a
at their
cure?
proper time and how
Does that mean
society
the bacteria
moves on.
got out on your watch?
This subject is uncomfortable. If you would like to know more, I will ask that you first construct the final component.
This is going to go great. Yeah, because Paul comes from a society where somebody kills your father, you kill them back. You kill them, but there's no vengeance from these children. And he keeps asking Hera these questions like, "Oh, you're making dew collectors?" And Hera's like, "The planting goes on. We have to keep doing this." I want to read from this specifically, real quick. 559. Let's see. Because it's very nice. They'll find this place? He asked. Likely, she said. Yet we take the time to. He motioned with his hand toward the arch now far behind them. Make dew collectors? The planting goes on. What are dew collectors? He asked. The glance she turned on him was full of surprise. Don't they teach you anything in the wherever it is you come from? He replies, not about dew collectors. And she says, hi. And there was a whole conversation in the one word. Well, what are they? And she says, each bush, each weed you see out there in the erg, she said, how do you suppose it lives when we leave it? Each is planted most tenderly in its own little pit. The pits are filled with smooth ovals of chromoplastic. Light turns them white. You can see them glistening in the dawn if you look down from a high place. White reflects. But when old Father Sun departs, the chromoplastic reverts to transparency in the dark. It cools with extreme rapidity. The surface condenses moistures out of the air. The moisture trickles down to keep our plants alive. Dew collectors, he muttered, enchanted by the simple beauty of such a scheme. I'll mourn Jameis in the proper time for it, she said, as though her mind had not left his other question. He was a good man, Jameis, but quick to anger. A good provider, Jameis, and a wonder with the children. He made no separation between Joff's boy, my firstborn, and his own true son. They were equal in his eyes. And then Paul sees the children, and he's like, you conduct classes at a time like this? And she's like, yeah, we have to. Because they're constantly... there's always a threat. There's always something coming after them.
This is the last piece.
Ah.
Soon I will be autonomous again.
Well, this is going to be
What will
fun.
you do with your newfound freedom?
I must return home to make amends.
Amends? For the bacteria?
Yeah, it's always a time like this,
There
exactly.
seems to be a lot you're not telling me.
It is hard for me to find the words. I must collect my thoughts. We have all the necessary components. You may initiate body fabrication sequence from the tongue.
And sorry that these are both
There's
having...
still only an explanation.
I understand.
Okay, so before I do that real quick, because we're almost at the end of this section. This is your Yali, Hara said. Why do you hesitate? And the real question there is, your Yali's your home. She's like, this is your home. Why are you pulling back from everything? Why are you having such a hard time accepting that this is where you live, that this is literally your house, this place is your home now? He says, but we, he's already using the we to refer to Fremen. Because he's afraid of that destiny. And the fact that green is the color of mourning is, of course, relevant to the fact that the Atreides' banner is green, which, as Paul says earlier, that banner could come to mean terrible things. Paul focused on the fact that he had seen no clock, because somebody calls the time. The point there is that the Fremen move to their own time according to their own rhythms. There's a natural rhythm to doing things that they're in touch with. That's something that Frank Herbert, who was a huge naturalist, was getting at with all this shit, is that things like clocks, you don't need a clock when you know how the sun moves well enough to make water from a piece of plastic. That all that stuff detaches you, all that stuff pulls you away. It's not... There's definitely some noble savage stuff in here, which is a little Rousseau. It's a little whack, but they're not quite noble. They're unpretentious. At the end of that section, there's a weird cliffhanger where it seems to imply that Paul should be afraid of these children. What is it? Where is it? It's like 564. Like they come in like and it's like a... He heard the rustle of hangings, thought it was Hera returning with food, and turned to watch her. Instead, from beneath the displaced pattern of hangings, he saw two young boys, perhaps aged 9 and 10, staring out at him with greedy eyes. Each wore a small Kinjal type of crysknife, rested a hand on the hilt. And Paul recalled the stories of the Fremen, that their children fought as ferociously as adults. Which is just a complete Goosebumps cliffhanger. There's no threat from these kids. They love him immediately. But it's still fun. It's weird to see kids with knives. All right, let's do this. Let's make this mistake.
Commence installation in fabrication.
The escape of the bacteria was an accident. I thought my solution was foolproof. I was wrong.
Oh.
Did you cause the accident?
Did you build the gun?
Yes. I do not wish to speak about it.
We can come back to this.
Oh no, he's hot.
What are you doing?
Research. Tit for tat. You've probed my mind. I scan your body.
The complete physical architect vessel is a biotechnology and cybernetic hybrid, incorporating design elements from more than 20 DNA sources. Skin. The outer layer of tissue has the consistency of leather. The tissue is interlaced with channels of visibly glowing energy powered by the alien's internal biotechnological heart. Robotic arms. Alan has 6 articulated arms that are suspended around his body by magnetic levitation. These arms contain independent high-speed computing systems and are capable of performing tasks independently. So, Doc Ock. Limbs. The organic arms are considered secondary to the inorganic robotic arms. They're used for mundane tasks that don't require much fine motor movement. The bottom half of the arms are covered in a biocomposite plating. Plating might serve as a form of armor. Also appears to store latent energy buildups like capacitors. Mobility. The hoof legs are reminiscent of several species of mountain goats. The hooves are covered in microscopic hooks that aid exploring rough and uneven terrain. Forelegs and the hind legs are oddly close together, which explains why walking must be a secondary form of movement for this architect form, and feces is processed in the thigh pads. Teleportation. The architect body is able to teleport or blink short distances. This method is likely a scaled-down version of the teleportation gates, but the methodology is not well understood. It is likely the architect's body is able to provide a massive amount of power necessary for this function. Y'all remember the teleporting guys from the first game? They kind of looked like this, a little bit. Matching DNA fragments appear to be derived from the following sources. Chromium boar of Katwale prime, an invasive species known for their extremely tough skin, which makes them hard to eradicate. Putty serpent of Aspaskar, extremely tensile skin, prevents it from tearing, allows it to compress itself in small spaces. Electrode eel, it can generate electricity. Astral rays, that generate and store more electricity. They can climb really well. They can... Wow, I cannot wait. Yeah, these guys built the warpers. But also the shape of its head is reminiscent of the warpers. I cannot believe my character is actually going to do this. This is the fucking...
Commencing Untitled Chapter.
Unless...
Did it work? Are we...
You are irrelevant. Oh boy.
It has been some time since I last stretched out in so many dimensions. Like waking from a dream.
Whoa. Hey. You're really not in my head anymore?
There are some remnants. Would you like your memories of me removed as well?
This is still Subnautica.
Are you kidding? No way. You still owe me the end of your story.
This is a very sexy alien.
I told you I must return home. To assess. Repair. Make amends.
Oh, let me just pick you up with my big strong arms.
When the bacteria
Tell me more.
escaped, it was my fault. I disobeyed the directive from my network.
Oh? He flashed red when he said that.
Oh no.
Oh! Whoa!
I noticed that a species of Leviathan young produced an enzyme that is efficient against the bacteria. I thought if we incubated sea dragon eggs, we might expedite their hatching. I was not wrong.
But...
It would appear that sea dragon parents are stronger and more motivated than our facility was rated to handle.
And the bacteria got out, infecting everything. How many
Hi.
survived the outbreak back home?
You're so
Are they still
strong.
waiting for someone to bring back a cure?
I
Do
not
you have a
know.
Can
girlfriend?
I help?
The fact that I
Can I
withheld
come?
this information does not concern you.
I was certainly manipulative. And I've also made my own share of mistakes. I'm
Hi.
still committed to helping.
Hi.
I accept your help.
Hi.
Find me at the gate when you are ready. In the meantime, I must prepare.
Hi.
Signal location uploaded to PDA.
Hi. Hi. Hello. Hi.
Please, I will join you in the gate base when everything is ready, but for now I have much to prepare.
Hi. Just, get some shots. Get some good shots for the old... How do you crouch? Is there crouching in this game? There it is. That's sort of a... There we go. Now, I'm just curious. Oh yeah, let's get a pinkling shot. Good idea. Thanks, Tim. And here's our sun. Oh, he does not want... He won't... Pingling's not, He ain't... He's too scared. He's scared of his new father. He won't come out. Look, we have a baby! We have a baby! This is our child! No, look at me! God, is this how subs feel? I see. They're a cross between... He's like every boss, though. He's every villain visually. He's like Dr. Octopus crossed with Montaro and an Andalite. And the devil from The Last Unicorn. And GLaDOS, yeah. Got little pinchers. His hands are clamps. Little Maleficent's right. And that Jarvis a little bit. People go wild for Jarvis. Vision. Got a little Vision in here. He's got that British like, absolutely. I will be in your brain, seeing everything you think. There we go. There we go. Alan is extremely hot. Thank you for this. I'm enjoying to look at him and to be talked to by him and to ask him questions which predicate further talking to from Alan. I am free Thursday. Thank you. Golly jeez. He literally turned red. He can turn... Yeah, he's... Hold on, what if I... Oh, he doesn't even feel it. I made him out of kyanite and diamonds and pustules and plasteel. He's so strong. Hey, are you... No, you probably... Can I get lost in your geometry? Oh, okay. Oh yeah, so last thing, kind of a big deal in Dune. This last section, you know, whatever. His name is reversible to Nala? Like from the... Oh. Oh boy. That Nala thirst. People go wild. Well... Wait, I have salt and a... Wait, is it letting me build things out of... Oh, I don't have those. Why is it showing water, then? Doesn't usually show me things I can't... Oh, weird, it's showing me all my recipes. Okay, well I have triops. Usually they're grayed out if you can't cook them. Alright. So there's this final thing. We are the sons of Jameis, who are the sons of the sons of Jameis, who are the sons of Asul. This same fucking guy. Oh my god, my ship is almost destroyed. Fuck off! I'm at 3%. The fuck? Oh, there's two! That's what happened. Let's get the fuck out of here. Okay, so they go to the thing, and it's the big thing. Basically, the sons of Jameis' sons are now Paul's sons, and they're not wearing green, which lets everybody know that they're not in mourning, which means they've accepted Paul as their father. Which is relevant because, again, the thing I was talking about socially, they're guarding him with pride, they take their duties very seriously. It is a social, it's socially, it lets everybody know that there's no bad blood between them and Paul. It's a public declaration, which is almost as important as the private absence of rift. No one's good, people can just look and see, oh, everything's fine in that family. I'm going to describe this. I'm going to do this next bit as I'm running for my life. The old woman, the Reverend Mother, there's been this assumption on Jessica's part that they just called there, that the Fremen, because of the missing Aria Protectiva, were just calling their wise women Reverend Mothers, but we come to discover that, oh, no, Jessica, this lady actually knows more than you do about all this. The Reverend Mother, when she meets Jessica, says, "So you're the one." The old head nodded once precariously on the thin neck. "The shout-out Mapes was right to pity you." which, if you recall, just a brief 470 something pages ago, the shout out Mapes. After she met Jessica, behind her, Mapes paused in cleaning the wrappings from the bull's head, looked at the retreating back. She's the one, all right. Poor thing, she muttered. Poor thing. So, call back. So I'm gonna get into some reaching here for a second. I'm gonna ask y'all to bear with me. The Fremen Reverend Mother, whose name I can't remember right now, says, "We are the people of Mizir," which may roll off as just, it probably reads, if you don't know, as just like kind of fancy sci-fi talk, but Mizir is the Romanized Arabic name for Egypt. So that's what she's saying there. And she says, not just, it's like, she's not just like, oh, it's a reference to Egypt. It's like, they're literally Egyptians. These are literally the descendants of Sunni, like the Fremen are the descendants of Sunni Egyptians. Yeah. Since our Sunni ancestors fled from Nilotic al-Aruba, we have known flight and death. The young go on, that our people shall not die. So this is where I'm dead for sure on the, I'm absolutely for sure certain on the, just on the what they're saying is that these are Egyptians. These are people who stretch back to Egypt. But here's the connection I'm trying to make. She specifically says that they are Sunni. Now, if you don't know the difference between the Sunni and the Shiites, the Sunni held that Muhammad left no heir, and so Muhammad's successor was chosen by a group of his friends and closest confidants. What's his name? Abu Bakr, I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong, who's the first caliph. So, a lot of this... Oh, another one of these fucking guys. A lot of these chapters are specifically about mourning as a time of... that mourning is something that must be done in its proper time. And succession must be allowed to happen in its proper time. That there have to be methods of succession. Remember the Count Fenrig saying, you know, the Emperor has not yet approved your choice of heir. Contrast that with Paul deciding whether or not to accept. Paul is his to accept the children of Janus, and obviously he goes of Janus, and obviously he does because he's not a piece of shit. And we see like there's some. We can probably make some more sense of that. Oh, I love this drawing, and I'm going to open it now. I'm going to add it. Because that's neat. Alright, let me see. I'm going to add that here, put that on the fridge. Very good. Add a new source. Image. Add source. Add a new source. Name it Papa. Oh, that's not right. The wrong one. There we go. And I'm kind of fucking up the lines. There we go. Exquisite. Look at this. Kate! Look! Look at the strong. You don't have to... You just guys... Marvel Cake did that. It's me flipping out over the big sexy alien I built.
I love it.
Yeah. It does rule. I agree. I'm just gonna put him peeking up right here because I don't want to. I'm gonna shrink it down, but we've all seen it real good, and I'm just absolutely destroying it. Sorry, it's getting a little blurry, but we all remember how good it looks. Good drawing. It's good and goof. Okay, so Paul, a 15-year-old, has accepted that he's going to take care of these children that are not his, but are now his. Jessica goes through the process. A lot of wild shit happens all at once. I hope we were able to follow. I'm sure y'all were. Basically, Jessica drinks this stuff that is the converted little. It is the made from the little maker, little sanderm, and gets. They say the crop was large and the maker has been destroyed. Jessica trips out on the water, on what's called the water of life. So there's a couple of connections here. The water of life was also known as aquavitae. Was a name given by alchemists to a concentrated aqueous solution of ethanol in the 15th century. It was thought for a while that it might be the fifth essence, the fifth element. The quintessence is another name for it. Quintessence is another name for the fifth element. Quint being the Latin from five, and essence being essence. The fifth essence, the fifth element, because as Aristotle held that the four elements were water, fire, air, and earth, but the quintessence, the quintessential, the ineffable extra, the thing beyond what can be perceived and measured. Yeah, they get completely trashed on nasty ethanol. Also, water of life is the Christian water of life is the Holy Spirit. There's a reference in the post-apocalyptic stuff. The post-apocalyptic John says that the water of life will be. He will come who will transform water into the water of life, which is the vessel of the Holy Spirit. So there's a lot going on here. It's both metaphysical, it's alchemical, it's spiritual, it's steeped in tradition. All of this stuff is happening, and it rules. Jessica, there's that horrifying line. The baby who Paul knew about, who Jessica's pregnant, just barely pregnant. It's just some cells. Whoops. Because this thing that Jessica does also happens to the fetus. And what is it that Jessica does? She connects first she changes what would be poisonous stuff into a fun, sexy drug that allows everybody to kind of connect. And later Channy is able to get a little taste of Paul's prescience and see the future that they have together, which is very sweet. The true test of prescience is to see the past and the present, which is what I've been trying to do. I think that's why there are so many callbacks in these chapters, is to kind of get that across. So Jessica connects not just to that Reverend Mother, but to everyone going back and back, and this is the part that's really important. Geopolitically. Jessica recoiled, fearing that she would become lost in an ocean of oneness. Still, the corridor remained, revealing to Jessica that the Fremen culture was far older than she had expected. There had been Fremen on Poratiran, she saw, a people grown soft with an easy planet. Fair game for Imperial raiders to harvest and plant human colonies on Bella Telejus and Salusa Secundus. Jessica saw the slave cribs on Bella Telejus down that inner corridor, saw the weeding out and the selecting that spread men to Rasak and Harmontep. These are both very Egyptian names. Scenes of brutal ferocity opened to her like the petals of a terrible flower, and she saw the thread of the past carried by Sayadina after Sayadina, first by word of mouth, hidden in the San Chanties, then refined through their own reverend mothers with the discovery of the poison drug on Rasak, and now developed to subtle strength on Arrakis in the discovery of the water of life. But Jessica's attention was focused on the revelation of the water of life, seeing its source, the liquid exhalation of a dying sandworm, a maker, and she saw the killing of it in her new memory. She suppressed a gasp. The creature was drowned. Yeah, Bela Tejus is definitely the implication there is that it was a planet settled around the star Betelgeuse, and that the name got gradually modified over time. So they drowned a worm, which is a hell of a thing. But also, the Fremen are the descendants of people who were on Salusa Secundus, which is exactly where the Baron was like, hey, you know what I should do? I should turn Dune into my own Salusa Secundus. What do you think about that? The Emperor's advisor. So, wild stuff. The Emperor, the Emperor might not know about the relation, but the Emperor understands that the prison world of there's a whole conversation that Paul and his father have early on in the book where the Duke says, like, you know, prison worlds are how you make Sardaukar. And he's like, you know, if this planet sucks as much as they say, we might find a fighting force to rival the Sardaukar. Like, the Duke sees all this coming miles away, even though he doesn't have the knowledge. But the Emperor is at least like, hey, no, you are not going to be developing your own prison planet and fighting force exactly like mine. Fuck you. Wild stuff all around. How does this end? A little bit. There's the very sad bit of this like horrifying thing of like basically this tiny this like handful of cells in Jessica's. There's like it's decidedly metaphysical, the idea that there is a mote of awareness existing in a baby that is like a fetus that is a few weeks old. Let's just not drill down too hard on that. That's fine. It's magic. This is where things go outside. This is where things go outside. Go outside of what is concretely, empirically, scientifically real. But Jessica has that line, I'm like a person whose hands were kept numb. Hold on, what is that? I'm like a person whose hands were kept numb. And then suddenly I've got these hands. I've got these hands and I can touch everything and everything's great because she has the water of life. right? So that's the thing that predicates the thing. Now think back, way back, to, where is it? When, back on like page 64, like several hundred pages back, when Yue got Paul to read from the OC Bible, and asked him to read his favorite passage, it says, open it to 467 Kalima, where it says, from water does all life begin. Water, life. But what Paul actually reads is, think you of the fact that a deaf person cannot hear. Then what deafness may we not all possess? What senses do we lack that we cannot see and hear another world all around us? It's all connected. It's all interwoven. It's a very well-written book. And as Paul says, you cannot back into the future. This whole thing, stuff that Paul's been going through, follows the same structure as Fade's chapter. There was the fight to the death with Jameis. There was the mourning ceremony, which was it was the Jameis when they took the stuff and they let his spirit go on, they rendered his body down. They sent him off with honor. Similarly, Fade let the Atreides soldier be buried with his knife. And then after that, there's a party. There's a fete. In the it is described as an orgy. I just want to make something very clear, because some people stick on this. When they say orgy, we have a certain definition of orgy. It's a little bit more the classical definition of, like, this is a bacchanal, this is a wild, this is a venting of feeling. Yes, it's like, it's not eyes wide shut. You know? People are partying, they might slip off to the side, but there are literally kids present, so don't worry that that's happening. Like, some of that is happening, for sure, but there's a line in a later book where somebody says that, like, notes that, like, some children participate in the spice orgy. I just want to make that clear, that is not.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
It's like, it's not. That's not necessarily what's happening. Like, some of that is happening elsewhere and off to the side, but it's not. It's the venting of feeling and repression from a people who spend all of their time hyper-disciplined. Specifically discipline is what they are. Well, that's gonna about do it for us for today. Tomorrow, I'm gonna run these. I'm gonna run this now. On the credits, thank you so much to, oh, here they are, generous patrons. We got a new patron yesterday, very exciting. Tomorrow, Kate Gray is going to be joining us. We haven't had a guest on the show, a call-in guest, in some time, so very exciting. Everybody be good. And then tomorrow night, we have, yeah, it's you. I know, name. I can. We might Kate. Maybe what do you say? Tomorrow we might do some base decoration, some building. There's some stuff I haven't built yet. That could be fun. Something like that. Don't worry. We'll do it. We'll maybe we'll make another aquarium. Who knows? You'll have fun. And also tomorrow night we got the Resident Evil 4. I think Resident Evil Afterlife. What are y'all talking about? Was there something loud? Was it this? Oh. Because my mic is next to my mouth. I don't think I coughed. Did I cough? I didn't even notice. Anyway. Oop. Preston's Delight. Purple Fruit Night. Preston Delight. Anyway. See y'all later. Have a good one. Peace out. I'm safe. They gave me a test. Get in the Discord if you're not, because we got the movie tomorrow. So bye. Oh, and read to for 928. You really should have them cleaned more often. Is what we're reading to. You really should have them cleaned more often. And I will also put that in the Discord. And now that I've put it on this, I can actually end. Peace out. Thank you, Mega. Thank you for everybody. It's always fun. I have a good time.